So first I want to say that this is the Salmar construction kit built by Salvatore Maritano in the 60s, and it's a computer music or electronic music instrument. It's got a lot of knobs and buttons and blinking lights. And it's definitely an instrument. It was taken on tour and generated sound for people all over America. Required virtuosity. And as you can see with all the wires, and it's very confusing, very, very messy, very large, very heavy. But it was a product of one person's imagination, and he realized it, of course, with the University of Illinois backing. And I work with a company called Livid Instruments, and this is one of our products. And when combined with a computer, this more or less can do whatever Salmar did. And do it a lot better and do a lot more. And it's portable and much tidier, and looks a lot cooler. So what we're coming out with soon is the pieces. It's basically what you just saw before exploded, and we're selling all the sort of pieces as a do-it-yourself construction kit. And so that sort of leads into what I'm talking about tonight, which is about roasting a whole pig. So you can see that this is a meal of meat. It's all very tidy. You can pay £6.29 for it and buy it and cook it. It's very tasty, very tidy. But you generally don't think about where it came from. You don't really think about the violence and the messiness. But I didn't really want to think about it so much as experience it. I didn't really want to stew in the ethics of it. I wanted to have a great party, wanted to have some great tasting food, and I also wanted to get closer to what made that meal of meat. So this is going to sort of illustrate the concept of DIY. I really didn't know how to cook a whole pig. I do a lot of cooking. I'm competent in the kitchen, but West Coast Dutch, German Americans don't really have a barbecue tradition, but Cuban Americans do, and they post on the internet, so I was like, okay, that looks like that'll work. I go to Craigslist, get a bunch of free cinder blocks. My friend Eric, totally helped me level out some earth. We laid out all the bricks. He came up with this ingenious solution for the corners. We didn't have to cut them, but they're all even. That's concrete mesh, concrete forming mesh that we use to sandwich the pig in. This is where it gets real. This is the Bar None Ranch in Half Moon Bay. And I found this place also on the internet. And it's, they have lots of animals. They've got lamb, they've got goats, they've got pigs, they've got emus. Well, I went there, and I walk into that slaughterhouse, which is the barn before you, and there was a dude standing there with a big rubber apron on, rubber boots, and he's got a goat carcass, and he's like diving into it and pulling guts out and tossing them into a bucket, and I'm just like, shit, this is kind of shocking, and he's like, oh yeah, just wait out here, and I'll be with you, and he takes me to the pigs, and he's like, which one do you want? I don't know, some 40 pounds clean. He sort of corrals the pig off, and squealing pig, and guides it off to the slaughterhouse, and I'm just kind of waiting out here, just kind of thinking about it. All right, so anyway, he cleans it, guts it, throws it in the back of my Saab. I get to the basement. This is my friend John. He helped me cook it. So we took it down to the basement where we prepped it up. We gave it a lot of salt and spice rub, with a lot of different spices. It's kind of like, and then we hung it in the basement to sort of drain it of the fluids. Leave it overnight. There's no refrigeration needed. And this is actually a previous pig roast that I did. And it's kind of crazy to do this because it's a lot different than just throwing a steak on the grill. It's like you really get in, you feel the anatomy, you feel the ribs, the weight of the animal. You got to turn it around. And then this is the oven. We cooked it overnight. It took about 8 to 10 hours. We have to build. We got a lot of wood on Craigslist, also free. And just kept burning fires to keep coals going. This is how we check the thermometer. We take a camera and just stick it into the oven, take a picture, and look on the screen. So we'd be like, oh yeah, it's about 250. That's right. And so then this is me making a vessel for cocktails. True to the DIY spirit, you know. That way I didn't have to do any dishes, and plus I get the coconut for some of the punch. You know, so after an evening of cooking, the kids are wary, but we've got ourselves a pig, we've got ourselves a meal, and so we're about ready to carve it up. As you can see, the adults are anticipating with their hands, and the kids are kind of going, I don't know about that, but they love it. They get into it. And so, yes, there is some of the carved pig, and what do I have to say about that? It's kind of, yes, the carved pig. It's not like carving a turkey where you have to really slice and use the knife. You just kind of like push it around and things fall apart because it's been cooking for 8 hours. The collagen and the connective tissues all just totally break down, and it just turns into literally pulled pork. I mean, that term is totally real. You just pull the pork. And then this is you know, when we first pulled the pig off and started carving it up, it definitely takes the character of a feast. You know, it's got a lot like Thanksgiving, where you pull the big ass bird out of the oven and everyone's excited. But but it's better than Thanksgiving because the weather is good and pork is tastier than bird. And this is my friend Dave. Obviously, he enjoyed himself. But what's kind of interesting is, like, you know, we hung, we killed, we burned, you know, but it was all for the sake, you know, of a good party. It wasn't like we were delighting in the violence. It's just that this animal, you know, quite literally transformed into food in front of us. And you know, so it's kind of like, I didn't really know what to expect, you know, going into it. You know, it's like I sent this animal to its death, but it's all at the same time we're also having a really good party. You know, so I guess in conclusion, what it boils down to is it's not really, you know, with DIY, it's not really the amount of work you put into it. It's just experiencing the whole story. And from DIY, you can actually get a sense of what it takes to make the world around you and what people actually have to do. So that's the moral.